This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 250, excerpts from the book Essential by the Minimalists of theminimalist.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Living Daily, the podcast that brings you the best in personal development and productivity every day of the week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Justin Malik.
Hello, and welcome to the 250th episode of Optimal Living Daily. Crazy, where has the time gone? Can't believe we're 250 episodes in. That's 250 straight days of this podcast, which is crazy to me. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you listen consistently. That's amazing, and I couldn't do it without you. Well, technically I could, but it'd be a lot less fun and not very motivating if I was reading to myself. So again, thank you, and please let me know what I can do to help you optimize your life. Now, my life is a little nuts right now. If you heard yesterday, I'm on the craziest sleep schedule ever, and I'm trying to get back to normal, so I'm trying to limit my work right now by playing some previously recorded material. It'll save me time and should sound just like a normal episode to you, so win-win. And the minimalists have been so kind and said I could use any and all of their book here on the podcast, so just like yesterday, I'm going to play excerpts from there. If you want to show your support for this podcast, just please listen to the end. And for now, let's start optimizing your life. 5 Ways to Create Solitude by Joshua Fields Millburn. Our daily lives are filled with noise. Every day, it's getting harder to turn down the volume. Even the places in which we used to find brief stints of solitude have been enveloped by our heavily mediated culture. Airport waiting rooms pipe quote-unquote infotainment into our heads via overhead HD monitors. Grocery store checkout lines drip soul-crushing pop music into our ears. And even bookstores, what's left of them, bombard us with ambient advertisements and visual clutter at every turn. And don't even get me started on the things within our control, things like the TVs in our homes, our internet connections, our smartphones, our iPads, and our infinite technical quote-unquote advances, most of which cocoon our attention spans every waking moment of every day. Often the noise feels inescapable, unturndownable, utterly overwhelming. The only way to avoid it seems to be while we're sleeping. Or does it invade our dreams too? But there's good news. We can turn down the noise. It's not always easy, and it takes a certain kind of awareness, but we can turn it down. It is our choice. I found at least 5 ways to create solitude in chaotic times. Number 1, wake early. Wake slowly. Take your time. Think. I write in the mornings in a quiet room with no distractions, no TV, no radio, no clocks, no noise, just me and my thoughts and the words on the page. Number 2, schedule time to read. I love reading, especially literary fiction. It was a way for me to force myself into solitude, just me and my thoughts and the characters on the page. Number 3, go for a walk. I walk all the time. Walking gives me uninterrupted time to think, time for myself, time inside my head to marshal my thoughts and emotions. Even if it's a 15-minute walk, it's worth my time. Just me and my thoughts and the city lights under Midwest skies. Number 4, exercise. I exercise every day. Sometimes I go to the gym. Sometimes I do push-ups, squats, and pull-ups in the park. Whatever I do, I have the opportunity to do it by myself in solitude. Just me and my thoughts and my body in motion. Number 5, get rid of distractions. This sounds like common sense, but we're so distracted by the noise that common sense doesn't seem all that common these days. But you can try to turn off your cell phone for a while, dump your television, kill the internet for a month, get rid of a few clocks, check email and social networks only once a day, and find ways to remove subtle distractions from your life. That's what I've done, and it's great. Just me, my thoughts, and a more meaningful life. A Quiet Place by Joshua Fields Millburn. My mind often cries for serenity. When I moved to a mountainside cabin in Montana for 4 months, my intention was to tap into a pseudo-Walden Pond experience, one in which I was closer to nature, closer to myself, my interior self, than ever before. It worked. During those months, I committed myself to a great deal of self-exploration, a great deal of writing. I wrote a ton of short stories, including Echo Lake, and a plethora of activities that forced me to better examine my interior life, tending to a fire for warmth, dealing with the loneliness of remote living, living more intentionally out of necessity. One of my recent experiences, living with 2 single guys in Missoula, Montana's University District, more closely mimics Thoreau's experience than the remote cabin. Hard to believe, right? The reason is simpler than one might guess. Amid the talking, the visitors, the socializing, the work, the meetings, the stuff 30-year-old single guys do, I found a serene place, a place all my own, a place to which I could retreat when I needed absolute peace. That place was my bedroom. Back in the cabin, peace and quiet became the norm. I was surrounded by deafening silence. But at the Asum house, I was forced to seek quiet when I was in need. Thus I established my bedroom as my quiet place. Much like the Rose Lakeside plot, my room contained only a few necessary items: a bed for sleeping, a desk for writing, a chair for sitting, and a lamp for reading. Occasionally I burned a candle so my olfactory sense, our strongest sense, knew I was in my quiet place. That's it. There's nothing else. I left the walls blank, the wood floor bare. I didn't want anything else in my quiet place. It needed to be not only quiet auditorily, but visually as well. I'm not opposed to artwork adorning my walls, nor decorations festooning my shelves. Aesthetics are important. Art and decorations often add a personal touch to a living space. But I can hang artwork and other personal embellishments anywhere in the home. My room, however, is intentionally void of these things. No clock, no paintings, no photos, no bookshelf, no nightstand, no noise. It's completely quiet, distraction-free, and thus it's anxiety and stress-free too. How about you? Where is your quiet place? You just listened to an excerpt from the book Essential by the Minimalists of theminimalist.com. Big thanks again to the Minimalists for letting me read any and all of their book to you. It's pretty amazing that they're okay with that. I raffle off a copy of one of their other books, Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life, every month to a random person on my mailing list. So if you want to show some support and join that for free, I'd greatly appreciate it. Plus you get free stuff from me. You can join for free at oldpodcast.com or text the word optimal to the number 44222. All right, I don't know if I'll be using more content from the Minimalist tomorrow or not. We will see. I guess it'll be a surprise for both of us. So I'll see you there, where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.